Module Overview. The constitutional development of Nigeria and the evolution of federalism are pivotal components of the country's political and administrative history. This module critically examines the various constitutional milestones, ideological foundations, and practical implications that have shaped the governance structure of Nigeria, from the colonial period to the modern era. Understanding constitutional development in Nigeria. What is a constitution? A constitution is the fundamental law of a nation that outlines the structure of government, defines the powers and responsibilities of various branches, and guarantees the rights of citizens. In Nigeria, the constitution is written and rigid, meaning it is codified in a single document and not easily amended. Importance of a constitution. Establishes legitimacy of political authority, provides a framework for governance, guarantees civil liberties and fundamental human rights, defines the structure and relationships among levels of government, serves as a tool for conflict resolution and national unity. Major constitutional milestones in Nigeria. First, Clifford Constitution, 1922. First constitution to introduce elective principles in Nigeria, Lagos and Calabar, created the Legislative Council Limited franchise. Only elite male Africans with certain income levels could vote, marked the beginning of political consciousness among Nigerians too. Richard's Constitution, 1946, aimed at integrating Nigeria's regions into a single system, introduced regional councils, North, East, West, increased Nigerian participation in governance but with limited autonomy, criticized for lack of consultation with Nigerians. 3. Macpherson Constitution, 1951. Widely regarded as Nigeria's first people-oriented constitution, introduced federalism in a basic form, created central, regional and local governments, allowed Nigerian ministers to participate in the Executive Council. 4. Littleton Constitution, 1954. Formalized federalism as Nigeria's governing system, clearly separated powers between central and regional governments, created a dual sovereignty. Independent regional and federal governments recognized Nigeria as a federation of autonomous regions. 5th, Independence Constitution, 1960. Provided Nigeria with full autonomy from British rule, retained the Queen of England as ceremonial head of state, introduced a parliamentary system of government, included fundamental human rights provisions. 6. Republican Constitution, 1963. Replaced the Queen with a Nigerian president as head of state, strengthened Nigeria's sovereignty. Retained the parliamentary system, but emphasized national unity. 7. 1979 Constitution introduced the presidential system of government inspired by the U.S. model, clearly separated powers among executive, legislature and judiciary, replaced parliamentary system with one-man executive presidency. 8. 1999 Constitution, current basis of the Fourth Republic, builds on the 1979 Constitution but adds greater detail, establishes bicameral legislature, federal structure, judiciary autonomy and rights of citizens, criticized for centralization of power and lack of restructuring provisions. First, definition of federalism. Federalism is a system of government in which power is shared between a central authority and constituent political units, states, regions. Second, origins of federalism in Nigeria. Rooted in ethnic, religious, and linguistic diversity, designed to manage pluralism and prevent ethnic domination, became necessary as colonial Nigeria had over 250 ethnic groups. 3. Characteristics of Nigerian federalism. 3-tier structure. Federal, state, local government revenue allocation based on derivation, need and equality presence of federal character principle to ensure inclusiveness, use of zoning and rotation to balance political representation. 4. Issues with Nigerian federalism. Over-centralization of power at the federal level, ethnic competition for control of the center, inequitable resource distribution, weak state governments lacking autonomy, agitations for true federalism, restructuring and devolution of powers. Intergovernmental relations, mechanisms of cooperation among federal, state and local governments. Areas of conflict include resource control, security, education and taxation. Institutions like the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, RMAFC, mediate disputes, calls for fiscal federalism to ensure states generate and manage their own revenues. Conclusion. The development of constitutions and the adoption of federalism in Nigeria are both dynamic and reflective of the country's complex cultural, historical and political realities. This module enables you to appreciate how governance frameworks shape citizen rights, institutional structures and national identity. It also fosters critical thinking about restructuring, constitutional reform, and nation building.